Today we're going to be talking about reducing the use of social media. Now, social media is it's one of the biggest platforms that are being used. They're used to connect people with their friends, their families, and sometimes even in a business setting. But today we're going to be talking about the negative effects of social media and what kind of impact it has on us. The first thing I like to talk about is cyberbullying. Now, cyberbullying is one of the biggest problems that teenagers faces these days because whenever a teenager or somebody is on social media sites such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, there's always an increased risk of cyberbullying, and most of it is emotional abuse. Now, someone could post something on their Facebook wall, and another person could comment on it with a negative feedback, or they can create rumors about that person, and that is more often happen to teenagers and people who do not have any knowledge of internet safety. Um, so the next thing I like to talk about are internet predators. Now, internet predators are everywhere, and it's even worse for our youths because they don't know who they're actually talking to. Somebody who could say they're the same age as them, but they're really not. They could be an older person and give an inaccurate description of themselves to that person, and it's mostly young teens may fall into the hands of a child predator because they don't really have that knowledge to protect themselves from internet a child predator because they can't ask them as they who they are and expect the truth. The internet is anonymous. The child predator may be an anonymous person, and they could lie about themselves, and the child predator may be hard to trace because since the internet is anonymous, it's really hard to find who that person is. Next thing we want to talk about are social medias and the disorders of them. So individuals with an emotional health disorder are more likely to be affected by cyberbullying. They may be depressed or they may have some type of health issue that affects them emotionally, and being on social media can can make it worse for them because there's always that fear of being left out, and it's an increasing problem in today's youth. Next thing I would like to talk about are educational risks. Teenagers in the schools are more likely to be on their phones while in class or while in school, and they're more likely to check their social media platforms in class, such as Facebook, Twitter, and that could prevent them from actually paying attention to the lecture or from doing the homework. There will be less time that they have to study, and it could be they could be distracted by the social media platforms, and they could procrastinate and not do their work. So, in conclusion, social media has a negative impacts if it is overused. Reducing the uses of social media can be more beneficial because the less somebody uses social media, the more time that they'll have to do other things to be more productive. Now, social media can either increase productivity or decrease it depending on the circumstances. If somebody is on social media just to check their wall, just to talk to their friends, then that could decrease their productivity because it takes away time that they could be doing something else with. It can also increase productivity if they use social media to do their work, such as in a business setting, they use it to connect to other people and they use it to communicate to their coworkers. So it can either increase productivity or decrease it. But regardless, reducing the use of social media can be beneficial because it allows us to interact with the people who are around us, and also it gives us more time to do the things that we need to do rather than going on our social media sites, and it can become a really big distraction for everybody.